Namaste. I welcome all of you. I'm Poonam Upadhyay, founder of Tathastu Holistic Health and co-founder of Sampoorna Naari. And we are here for Sampoorna Naari Talks. And each and every woman who comes here and share her journey, we are learning and we are moving forward. So today, in such journey, we have environmentalist I can say Asawari Mathur with us, who is founder of Dhanak Natural Products. And today she is into holistic living, how naturally we can help or cure ourselves. Cure means in this how naturally we can connect with the nature. So welcome Asawari to Sampoorna Nari Talks, and we are very thankful for you to accepting our request and coming to this show. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Poonam, for inviting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. And let me tell you more about her. And before that, like in our Vedic texts, it is mentioned that we should consider in this world we should consider seven mothers, or we should be grateful for them and consider them as mother. One is our own mother, our own biological mother. One is the cow, who from childhood we are connected and she is helping us. The wife of or the teacher who is teaching us, the wife of the king or the queen who is there, a nurse, and the mother earth. And so, in that scenario, uh, we have forgotten all that values and we are concentrating on our own self. But today we are presenting someone who is so consciously doing things. That's why giving back to the Mother Earth, and which is very important, and we all should understand this concept and work in our field, whichever field we are, we should understand this concept and we should be grateful to our Mother Earth. So, our Savri will be guiding and helping us, and her journey might help many of you to understand and connect to Mother. And when I ask her, she is like she have learned. She is very passionate. She like when we ask her, she was like she has crafted her own path. She has her own journey of learning. It's not education wise, but just how she connected to nature and how she came into environmental sustainability, and her love for personal care manifests through her initiative Dhana. And uh, and not only that, she spreads positivity with Dhanak, and she is always so open. Whatever she is making, she even sells or share the recipes to all the viewers who are there. So again, a warm welcome to Asavi. Thank you so much. So
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, I missed the question. What?
So no, still we are just welcoming you. I just introduced you to the audiences.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So welcome to the show, and let I want to know about your journey. I am sure this will be very exciting, and I think all of you who are listening, as we are working with women, but yeah, as we said, we have to pay our gratitude to each and every individual or each and every one, so that we get back that. So with that, Asawri is going to share her journey with us. So let's start with our question. So our first question is about your childhood. So becoming that passionate, that conscious, will be having some connection with your childhood. So how was your childhood, and like which memories do you remember as a child which has which still has impact in you?
So, when I was about 10 years, when I was in the middle of my fifth grade, my parents pulled me out of school. So, out of I used to go to a regular conventional school in Bangalore. That's where I'm born and brought up. So, my parents took me out of school and they they started homeschooling me, which eventually moved towards an open learning space. So, since around 10 years, I've always learned as a self-directed learner, which means that whatever I want to do as a child, I used to love to do a lot of dance, a lot of art. I used to like writing, taking care of animals. So all of these things, whatever I would want to do, I would just plan it out and then do it. There were no um, the concept of open learning was that there was no subjects, there was no curriculum, no exams, no nothing. And so because of that, I think I had a very joyful childhood, and not just joyful, but also I learned a lot, and just not like learned in the sense of subjects or knowledge, but also a lot of inner development, self development, learning to take responsibility, to connect with people, do work, all of those so called as, you can say life skills or social skills, health skills, whatever. So I think that really helped me to identify what I'm passionate about, because I was given the space to explore and do whatever I wanted to do. So I was able to do that. And then when I had to start a business, it was not so challenging for me, because I knew that I am a capable person who can figure things out. Of course, when I started off the business, I knew nothing about business. I mean, no background around it. But because I kind of had the experience that from a child, whatever I wanted to do, I just explored and I did it, learned from the mistakes, and not that I did it alone. I always took help from my parents or outside people. And now these days, internet is like a huge resource for anything that you want to learn. So yeah, I think as a child, that kind of experience was um very enriching, and kind of created the adult that I am today. And apart from that, I think my parents themselves are so connected to nature. And since I was a baby, I remember going out. Like, we used to live in the city initially, so every chance we got, we would go out into the nature. And never our vacations would be touristy vacations. They'll be going for treks in the mountains, or going to a forest, or bird watching or river rafting or whatever. It was always, we always went out and connected with nature. I remember once we went for a star party, which is basically doing stargazing the whole night. So my parents really gave me and my brother, of course, the exposure of nature, like, and that kind of made sure that as a child I grew up to be a person who loved nature and really connected to nature. And that is very important, because like you said, Mother Earth is really our mother, and till we don't feel that connection, till then, we don't understand the pain that we are causing her in today's, because of different lifestyle choices of today.
Wow, that's really very inspiring and motivating because as kids, education is what now we understand and perceive is the certificates. It's based on certificates and not knowledge. But here we can see that it's actually reversed. Then there is a time when the maturity, when we reach maturity, we understand that education was never about degrees or something. It's about how you understand and perceive things. So great to connect and know that this homeschooling can do wonders and explore different aspects. So and like having such parents who let you do your own thing and find your own path will also help the individual to grow as a person. So that's really nice to know. So it's very interesting to know about your childhood. uh, and so after your childhood, and as you told, you were into nature and parents connected you to nature. So how the concept of dhanak came, and uh, how you became so passionate about the thing you are doing now, about your the natural, just the providing the platform like Danak and helping others. How did the passion come in you?
So, in 2015, I went to Udaipur. There's a space called Swaraj University, which is like a similar space that which I went through as a child, where they have a learning program for youth, which is open, which there are no degrees. It's about finding your passion, and that is also it's not in the exact in the city of Udaipur. It's a little outside in a village, and so I went there to live for 2 years. And over there I really I got exposed, or I there they did a workshop called rethinking development, where we really saw how we really went into depth, like for example the t-shirt we wear, what and all the processes it goes through, and how those processes are disturbing the natural cycles of the earth, or different things like that. So almost I would say 10 to 15 days, an immersive journey, where we talked about food, clothes, everything, and how everything is so kind of disconnected from nature, how our current system of the consumeristic lifestyle is so disconnected. And we did a lot of nature connection activities and processes. And also I think that of course, since a child I always was a person who loved nature, but I think apart from making posters as a child's, don't cut trees and close the tap, I did not know what environmental sustainability was. Even in schools, I have seen, children draw these posters, but they don't know beyond that. They don't know that if, let's say, I choose not to buy clothes and I choose to take second hand, how I'm actually saving water, or these kind of processes we don't really talk about. Now, of course, more it is talked about in the social media, but at that time I didn't. So when I got to know about all of this, I really felt like this is a very important issue, that the earth is really in pain and we really need to do something, and the only people who can do something is us. We cannot blame anybody for what is happening. The choices I am making is all up to me. And so I think that was a really turning point, and I started, for me initially it was not so much about doing anything in the world, it was about changing my own lifestyle. So I really changed my own practices, but I took time, like slowly, one step at a time, started bringing changes in my own things. And one of the biggest changes I did was in my personal care. So I stopped using all toothpaste, shampoos, moisturizers, creams, everything, all those personal care products. And for me, apart from of course sustainable things, for me it was the chemicals. When I did, like they asked us to do research on what are those ingredients behind written on the bottle. So I googled those ingredients, and I was just shocked. Just personally, I was so shocked to know that these companies are putting, ingredients in the products that are so harmful for me, so harmful for nature, so harmful for anybody in my family. And I personally, it was shocking for me, because I thought I trust these brands, right? These big brands, I trust them to give me products that will are so-called supposed to be personal care products. They're supposed to care for me, but underline they're not caring for me. So I think all of these things, it really started with me first. I did a lot of changes in my own life, but I think, and when I started making changes in my own life, I realized that a lot of people don't know this, a lot of people don't have awareness, and it's very important to share with it people. So initially I started off with taking workshops. I used to do with a friend of mine. We took workshops with youth and workshops with children and some adults also, and all of that. But somehow that kind of didn't last long, because I felt like I was not making long term change. Like a person would come, attend the workshop, say this is very nice, but when they go back home, are they actually making the changes that I made in my lifestyle? I was not so sure. And so that's why that I do to some extent. Still I continue to work on spreading awareness, but then I thought, if I offer products to people which will really help them make those good lifestyle choices, like you were saying, holistic lifestyle choices. Because when I started looking at living close to mother earth, I realized it's not just about caring for the earth. It's so much about caring for ourselves. When we start using products that are coming directly from nature, I realized small things, like I started feeling beautiful again. No more that social media or the,
True.
the media influence of I'm not beautiful because I have a pimple on my face, or I'm not beautiful because I have dark skin or wavy hair or whatever. So that really brought a change, because when I was using ingredients directly from nature, I felt so cared for from nature that how can I not be beautiful? I am a child of nature, and so many things. I think for me, like you said, it's about holistic living. And any entry it can be, whether it's education, whether it's food, whether it's medicine, whether it's what personal care products you use. I think the entry point for somebody into a holistic living can be anything in your life. But once you start rethinking anything like food, then you naturally look at, okay, if I'm eating healthy, I need to apply healthy also. If I'm eating healthy, very good healthy food, but I'm applying a cream that has toxins in it, then it's not good, right? So I think all of these kind of thoughts and things really, really inspired me to kind of create Dhanak. Of course, it happened very slowly, just sharing with friends, and then friends liked it, and then it kind of build up slowly. So it was a very intuitive process. It just happened. I had never really expected myself to reach here where I am today, but yeah, I think it was important also.
Very nice. We all, as you said, we all are beautiful. And today, the pressure from media or the social, the frame, we have to reframe what is beautiful. It's not how we are presenting, it is how we are feeling internally and externally. So, all the ladies out there, if you feel that the some product will make you beautiful, it's not the case. As Asawari mentioned, it's being inside how you feel like, and more closer to nature you are, you will realize this, that each and every soul, each and every individual is beautiful. So thank you for mentioning such a beautiful thing. And who all inspired you in this journey? Because it's not like, it's quite different. People are so busy in their own thing, they're busy in their own self. We all are busy in actually running a race, as I feel like, and we are moving in the direction where we don't realize where are we heading to. So in this scenario, being so calm, understanding, being close to nature is something everyone requires. And now I think this 2 years people understand why holistic healing or holistic development is required. They
Yes,
have time to reset their button and go back to their roots. So
yes.
who all inspired you?
I think, in terms of how I think today, my education played a very vital role, because I never walked the regular path, never in terms of education, or I didn't take any degrees or everything that I learned. So because of that, I always was a person who thought differently, looked at life very differently. And so I think living this. And the other thing was that because of my parents' work, we shifted uh, when I was around 13 or 14 years from Bangalore to a nearby village. And I think living in the village really slowed down my life. Like when you live here, like right now, I live in a village. I still live here because I just love it. I can't go back to any city. So when I live here, the nature over here is just one of the biggest inspirations. It gives you that needed connection, that passion. You don't need it, nobody needs to tell you to live in harmony with nature, because when you live because in cities we don't have that space to be with nature, we don't feel that connect. Nature feels like something that's very far away. And I think these are two important things. Plus, of course, a lot of people have inspired me. Like I mentioned, that workshop that I did was very inspiring. I even read a book called Story of Stuff by Annie Leonard. That was a very impactful book for me, because it talked about the bigger picture of all of this. So Story of Stuff, they also have a video series on YouTube. So both the video series and the book was very inspiring. Yeah, and I think I still keep getting inspired. I have so many friends now who also, I became friends with so many other people who want to live zero waste lifestyles or eco lifestyles. And then when you have friends or when you have a family like who understands you, then naturally you get inspired by them also. Yeah.
Wow, really inspiring, and like we all should actually pause and think where we are going and are we connected to nature. So that's really nice to know. But then too, where people are have different mindset, as you mentioned, that you knew that you have a different like you grew differently and you have different mindset. So mostly what happens with in such scenario, there are some women or there are some individuals who, if they feel different or their thinking thought pattern is different, they feel that something is wrong with them, they don't appreciate it. So this is for all of you, because at some point we all feel that it's all right, it's your blessing, it's a blessing. If you are different, you think differently, the thing is only to apply that and have trust, automatically you will grow. So if someone says you think differently, or if you have you walk in different path, don't be like don't take it in a negative way. It is something you can take and make it as a strength and move forward. So uh, but then too, Asawari, what were the struggle and challenges you faced in this journey?
Um, well, specific to Dhanak, like starting and creating Dhanak, of course, there were many small challenges that I came across. Uh, Being an eco brand is not easy, especially in a world where everything is designed to not necessarily, it's designed to focus on profits, not focus on environment. So there have been couple of challenges around that, like finding, when you want to be an eco conscious brand where you want everything from your packaging to your products to the courier packaging to the courier service, everything you want it to be kind of as eco-friendly as possible. But then that costs a lot also, and it's not always like, for example, packaging material is not always accessible, or sometimes, then the objectives of profit or the objectives of sales clashes with the objectives of environmental sustainability. So definitely that has been a challenge for me, but I think it is all from the starting. I was very clear that this my work is going to be environmentally conscious no matter what. So I think that really shaped itself slowly it shaped itself out. uh, and of course, I think more than the external challenges, it's the inner challenges, the challenges of not feeling self worthy, of, sometimes, like, especially when I started selling. Initially, when I was making the products for myself, it was completely fine because I would make it, use it maximum. A couple of family or friends would, just borrow, take some from me and use it at their homes. And so it didn't. But the moment I started selling the products, giving it out there, asking for money in return, and it became, then the questions of self-worth, whether it's good enough, whether I am good enough, whether my work is good enough, those kind of, I think that was, I struggled with that quite a lot for a long time. I used to struggle a lot with feeling self-worthy of the work I'm doing, and sometimes I'd feel like, really, is my work making any impact? I mean, so what if I sold 10 bottles? It's not big. So all of these kind of, I think for me, the internal battles were much more challenging than the external. I mean, outside things, slowly you one always finds solutions. If there's a money solution, you figure it out. And if there's a packaging solution, you kind of figure it out. And of course, you learn from the mistakes. Like, anytime I do mistakes, it's always helpful because I learned from it. But it took time for me to work through the internal challenges and find that kind of balance, balancing my work and my personal time. All of those kind of things were challenging. Yeah.
Mm, that's really nice to know. And I think we all face it, and but we have to just be our best and consistent, and slowly, steadily, we will come out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Very nice to know. And you're doing so much. So as a woman, you led a different path, and we all learn. You're also still in this path, growing more and more, and making people conscious, creating that awareness. So, as a Sampurna Nari, what is that one message you want to give out to all Sampurnaris who are listening to you?
I think for me, it would be to follow your heart. And walk your own path, whatever path it may be. There's no right or wrong, but really to follow your heart and do what calls you. It doesn't have to be environmental sustainability. That's just one. That's what calls me. But whatever calls you, whatever is your passion, is your life. It's really. I think if we don't follow our heart, if we don't walk our own path, if we don't live every day doing what we love and feeling alive, then what is the joy of living, right? So I think as a Sampurna Nari, I would really tell all women out there to follow their heart and do what they love and walk their own path. It is challenging, that's there's no doubt about that. But um and as we are also coming out of this whole patriarchy notion that men should do the work and we should not, I think it's very important for us to stand up as women and do whatever, even if doing housework is what you love, that's completely fine. But owning up to that is, I think, something that's very important.
Yeah, very, very true, very nicely said. Because as we said, we are doing our household work also. We still feel, though we give our 100%, we are into that the whole day. Then do we feel, are we worthy or not? So that internal thing should be minimized and slowly, steadily stop. So this is a journey, and we all have to hold hands together so that we move ahead together and
Yes.
help each other to grow.
Yes.
So thank you so much, and we will be having little more questions to ask, because
Sure.
it's about sustainability and it's about nature. So what is the some messages, or like, women are usually, as you said, we are so much obsessed with the beauty, seeing outside and using products, then seeing internally or connecting with nature. So uh, one thing is it harms the nature environment, but even the chemicals, how they affect our body or our skin. Do you can you highlight, or
Sure.
explain in brief about it?
Sure. So, one thing that I would definitely ask everyone who's listening to do is the next time you go into the bathroom, look at the products you use and read the ingredients. When you read the ingredients and notice how many ingredients do you actually know or understand. So, for example, it'll be written sodium lauryl sulfate, some I'm very bad at pronouncing. Basically, it's like you cannot pronounce them. That kind of ingredients are there, and when I did research about these ingredients, of course, not all. There are some ingredients that are completely safe to use, but there are some ingredients that are toxic for us. For example, sodium lauryl sulfate, which is very, very common in most of the products, it creates the froth or the foam, like when we shampoo, then nicely it foams up. So that has been linked to causing cancer. So like that, there are many toxins, so many ingredients in the products that can be toxic to us. They can cause major diseases, like, and especially for women in reproductive, in our reproductive systems, in our hormone, it causes hormone disruptions and things like that. But these are big diseases that maybe, one cannot pinpoint only to these products. Of course, like cancer can be caused due to many, many issues. But in my work in the last 2 years, I've seen that hair fall, early graying of hair, very dry and frizzy hair, split ends, dandruff, these have become common issues for women. Of her skin, pimples, dry skin, all these kind of issues have become very common. Not that I'm saying these issues cannot happen naturally, of course they can, but the harsh chemicals, like in our shampoo, there are chemicals that are so harsh to clean our hair. So those harsh chemicals are causing things like early drying of hair, hair fall, things like that. So there, it is naturally linked to what products you're using. Of course there are natural causes also to these all these diseases, so you cannot only blame these products, but definitely these the toxins in these products, like for example makeup products have a ton of toxins in them, lipsticks and also these hair colors and things like that. These toxins are just not good for our body. And also we need to realize that our skin is the largest organ, right? And anytime we apply something, for example if you apply some coconut oil on your hand, within a few minutes it's gone, it's no more there, your skin has completely absorbed it. So imagine when you're applying those creams which have toxins in them, then all those toxins are getting absorbed right into your bloodstream. So because our skin is the biggest organ and it has pores, so it's breathing, and we're not like, and we are just like how we're breathing polluted air, we're breathing polluted stuff for our skin also. So basically that is there. And plus of course all these toxins go into the water when we have a bath or wash our hands or whatever, and they flow into our, and like when I imagine it, I feel like it's a it's like a loop, because that water goes into the rivers, and that rivers water our crops, and then we eat it. So we're really in this kind of loop of toxins, and that's not just in our personal care products, but in a lot of our products. So we really need to break that and go back to nature, because nature has so many resources for us to take care of ourselves, whether it's our health, so medicine, like how Poonam was talking about holistic health, or whether it's our food, or whether it's our personal care. Nature has everything. And I would say start with going back to your traditional practices. Ask your grandmothers and mothers what do they used to do, because they have the most amazing wisdom on how to take care. If you have pimples, they'll say go apply this. If you have lice, they'll say go do this. So we don't need those anti-dandruff shampoos or anti-acne pimple packs and all of that, because we have enough resources in our kitchens, in our gardens, to take care of ourselves.
So true. And nowadays we are realizing it. Like people are now using oxygen plants. They are now again trying to connect with nature. So this is the time where we have to actually sit down and understand this process, because
Yes,
unless and until we are not developed internally, external development we might feel we are developed, but that will actually take it backwards.
yes,
So this is the real development, to know and enhance our internal beauty, which will automatically show outside.
yes.
Uh, I know you are like into this natural care products, which are naturally grown. One more question is, women usually feel that it will not give that effect. It will not be that effective if I use natural products. They feel that the hair might be more dry, or how will we use? So, what is your take on that?
So there are two things to this. One is that initially when we transit from using, let's say, let's go with hair, when we transit from using those chemical shampoos to natural shampoos, it takes some time, because your our hair has become so used to of that, that shampoo. Plus we have become so used to of that, we have forgotten how to use the let's say the shikakai that our grandmothers used to use. So it takes time, and if only if you are willing to, it will happen. Otherwise you are going to give up very soon and go back to the regular chemical shampoo. So one is that, and the second is that everyone's hair type, like I'm just taking the example of hair here, but again it's applicable for skin or oral care, whatever, that everyone's hair type is different, body constitution is different. We have different, some may have different issues, like for example I have a lot of internal pitta, it's in Ayurveda it's called. So because of that I get acne no matter what pack I apply, anti-acne pack, whether I apply the chemical one or the natural one, I still get acne. So it's really, there are so many kind of factors to this, so it's really about giving yourself the time to figure out what works for you. So trying a few recipes and figuring out really what's for you. And of course, you can take support of someone who is an expert of it. Like there is a different herbs to use for dry hair, different herbs to use for oily hair. So that, and plus the thing with natural personal care is that it is takes time. So I understand why we have shifted to chemical products, because our lifestyle has become so fast paced. So when we're so fast, we don't have time to mix the shikakai powder with hibiscus powder, let's say, and apply the paste on our hair and keep it for 10 minutes and then wash it off. There's no time for all of that. We want to quickly just pour some liquid and come out of the shower in 5 minutes. So definitely you will, if you want to make the switch, you have to give yourself time. You have to really spend time in figuring out what is the right recipes for you that will work for you and your body.
Thank you so much. That was really guide. And if someone has to, like, they have decided now they will switch to natural caring, or what is the first step? How should they start?
So I would say start one product at a time. And hair, if you're up for the challenge, start with hair. But otherwise, hair is generally the most complicated. So go because finding it took me also some time to figure out the right natural hair care that I want to do. But I would say take one product at a time. For example, for me, I started with natural menstruation. So I started using cloth pads for my periods. That was actually the first product that I switched, and I took a few months to make that transition. So and then I started with I removed my toothpaste and I initially started using neem twigs because I lived in the village and I had access to it. But then I moved on to tooth powder as well. And so then soap, then shampoo maybe. Then so not that you have to do it in the order that I did it, but I'm saying you can don't don't today only take out all the stuff out of your bathroom and throw it in the dustbin, and that can work if it works for you, I don't know. But I would suggest go one product at a time, go slowly. And for example, let's say makeup, if you feel like you want to use makeup, do go ahead, but let's say start using it a little lesser. Or there are some eco natural makeup brands, but generally they're really expensive. So you can see what works for you, what works for your budget. So I would say start one product at a time. And of course, with natural personal care, very much linked is our lifestyle. If we are not eating properly, we're not getting enough water, getting enough sunlight, then no matter what personal care products you put, your, let's say, your acne or your hair fall or all of that is not going to get solved. So I would say don't approach natural personal care as a thing to solve all your problems. That's not how it is. It's about, because like it's about holistic living, right? So there's so many factors. If I'm not drinking enough water, then how much of an anti-pimple pack I put, it's not going to, the pimples are not going to stop. So yeah, it's all, but you definitely take baby steps. That's the key, I feel.
Uh, I think you've given a beginner's guide on how we can switch on. And I also started the same, and still I am struggling with my hair, where I have to make this switch. Otherwise, I am very happy, and I've also switched, like, to bamboo toothbrushes, to all the chemicals. I have slowly, steadily trying to eliminate from my the daily
Yes.
routine, and it has really helped me to evolve and grow. Because in holistic living, or if we speak about this, chemicals, it's say that chemicals play a very role where they actually are unable to cleanse our aura. So once our aura is not cleansed, and I had also heard one of my mentor, he when we were studying, they told that we have pineal gland, the third eye, where it is located. And if we use more of chemicals, it is when the child is born, it's in the size of the grapes, our pineal gland, which is the gland of, like, knowledge, where we receive. But once when it forms into this using whatever different thing, but this is also one thing which is responsible, like the environment, the where we live, the people, that is one factor. But yes, the chemicals are also one of the factor where the size of the pineal gland shrinks and comes to normal size of the raisin. That's why if we try to also connect or take the knowledge, that thing is not there. So somewhere we have to understand our own body, our own thinking, and we have to make that switch, because we all have to become Sampurnari and understand how it will impact us. And when we women do it, it will impact all the society. How Asawari is doing, we all should take that step, and there are many people who will guide us if we just take that step. So thank you, Asavri, for your wonderful sharing your wonderful journey. Usually childhood, from childhood to this, it's really awesome. It said that we have to enjoy the life is not destination, it's the journey. And I
Yes.
can see with your example, I realize that even each and every part can be enjoyed, even the childhood without this. So I hope you all take that message and apply it in your life. So any questions, if anyone has, can ask.
Yeah, I would like to ask one question. Since you're recommending the eco-friendly products, so I would like to know, like, how much would you recommend the Patanjali and Ayurvedic products that are very much in I mean on limelight these days? So I mean, are they good enough, and should the general public go ahead and use these products, or we should go in for other natural products? I don't whatever brands they are too.
Sure.
So
So,
yeah.
see, this is a tricky question because I also don't know. But definitely, I would say one thing: things, brands like Patanjali and other things are one step better than the other brands, like for example, Sunsilk or Dove or anything like that. But not to not to, it's not really the thing is, one thing that I have understood when I make the products is that when you have to make a product that's water based, like which is liquid, it has to have some preservatives, some chemicals. And I have used Patanjali initially. I Before I used to make my own products, I used to use Patanjali only and all these other things. But somehow I personally am not convinced that they are 100% natural. Yes, definitely, as I was saying, they'll be one step better, but I'm not personally convinced that they are completely using natural ingredients like they claim, like their ingredient list also claims. So also I have done a little research, and as per law, many of these companies are not required to disclose all their ingredients, and they can put any label like natural, organic, herbal, ayurvedic. All these words can be used on the products, and there's no definition. So I can be putting sodium lauryl sulfate in my shampoo,
Mm-hmm.
and I could be calling it a natural shampoo. And I have seen shampoos like this. I have seen like herbal henna shampoo, and behind there'll be sodium lauryl sulfate and triscolons and all of those ingredients. So I would say it's very important to know the ingredients in your products. Whatever brand you're using, know the
Right.
ingredients that you're
So
using.
what products
Uh,
would you what products would you recommend then? Like what what are the genuine products that are 100% natural
So
according to you?
I do have a list of some brands that I personally trust because I know the ingredients that they say. As So that I can definitely, maybe I can share it with Poonam, and Poonam can share it with all of you. I do have a list of brands, and now there's more and more small brands coming up which are creating handmade natural products which you can buy from. Though I know sometimes when you go for these brands, they can be in terms of budget, they can be a little more expensive. So but there are good brands that are on affordable also. And another thing is to explore is making yourself. A lot of these products can be made at home, like a lot of you can make a lot of stuff at home. And that's why I say ask your mothers and grandmothers what they used to use, because their recipes are there's so much wisdom in those recipes. But yes, I can definitely with Poonam share a list of some brands that I recommend, which I feel use good, authentic ingredients in their products.
I think in every area or city there are some people like you who you what you are doing, which is unbranded.
Yes.
They don't have any brand, but they try best to you know work on that product and uh, impart that why it is important, like what Asawari is doing. She is not doing it for selling, but she is in the mission where she wants to make people even aware that how is why this sustainable living is important. So in
Yes.
each and every area, if we look out, we will find someone. But then we have become brand conscious, and we feel ki agar if it is not branded, then it might not be that
Yes,
worth. But then we have to change that mentality and think and check check with our own self. We have to be, as a consumer, we have to be more conscious. If someone is making also, then what is the ingredient they are using, what is their passion, are they passionate about their work? So definitely, and with results we will, I think we can make out.
yes, yes, definitely. But since Patanjali is a very popular brand,
Yes.
and many people know about it, so and as we are talking about the natural products, so obviously Patanjali is the first brand that comes on your mind. And
As Asawari said, it is better than using what. But yes, if you read the products of Patanjali shampoos and all that, they mention sodium laurate or some other things. As I said, as a consumer, we have to read the labels. But at least we are
right,
better than using what chemicals, full of chemicals, one two chemicals. Slowly, steadily, that transist will happen, I think.
yes, yes, surely, yeah, that is so fine.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, even the viewers, Shalini, Vasanta, to come and listen to Sabri. Thank you, Sabri, for taking your time and coming, and all the lovely ladies watching us and
Mm,
understanding about natural living, understanding about yourself, because this is a circle where we have to understand and grow. So, thank you for this wonderful session.
okay,
And we
thank
will,
you all. Thank you.
so uh, Vasanta has a message for you. She has written, she is very strong from within. Please convey. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vasanta, and for everyone for listening to me.
yeah. So we will just end today's session
Yeah.
and meet you again in next session. Thank you so much.